What's up, guys? It's me again, Christian Rodriguez, and today I noticed something. So this morning I went to the gym, right? And um, like I walk in, whatever, walk through a freaking blizzard because it's cold Chicago winter, and I scan into the gym. You know how when you walk into the gym, there's like the front desk, and you have to scan in before you get into the gym, and there's people like sitting behind the counter. And I remember I noticed one of them had a book, like the book Atomic Habits, which I've read, obviously, and I've made a video on it in the past. And there was something that I really noticed about it. And I just noticed that I think, I personally think most people are full of shit, right? When they say that read, um, when they've read a book, right? Like, I always encourage reading. First of all, I always encourage reading. I always tell people, like, you should read more often. You have to read books, fill your head with knowledge, educate yourself. And that's a great thing, right? And there's nothing wrong with that. But I do personally think a lot of people are full of shit when they read. I think people read for not for themselves. They read to say that they read, or they read for external validation. That's personally what I think that people do. Like, obviously, I'm posting about books on social media because this is for educational purposes. This is for YouTube, right? And at least I don't, for you guys, I've never met you guys in person before. I don't really know who you guys are. So this is a different reasoning why I'm posting books on social media, right? On YouTube, right? You'll never see me post something on Instagram, at least not now, on a book that I'm reading on my story, right? And I notice people like will post like pictures of like, oh, I'm reading 48 Laws of Power. I'm winning how to what's the name of that freaking book? Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. I'm reading all these books, right? I'm reading all these self-development books. Like there's people that do that, but I notice a lot of people don't even retain it. They've read it once and then they throw it away and they do nothing about it. And the reason why I say that is because I've known so many people that have read Atomic Habits, but I'm like the only one, and maybe I've met like one successful person that actually tracks their habits, right? Like I don't know too many people that track their habits. Like I really don't. So I'm like, how do so many people read Atomic Habits, but they don't track their habits, right? Even if I told them about tracking your habits, they might say, "Oh, I got to start doing that. It sounds like a good idea." Then they do nothing, right? And that just makes me think, okay, so if you're doing that, if you're reading the book, that tells me that you're just reading the book, you're skimming through it, and then you feel like you're productive because you just read an entire book, right? You're productive. I just read Atomic Habits. Let me put it on my story. Let me take a picture of it real quick, right, and put it on Instagram, right? And then you just throw it in the bookshelf and you just feel good that you read Atomic Habits or you read whatever book, but you learn nothing, right? Yeah, I like the point of like reading these books. You're not going to apply everything that you read in the books, right? You're not going to remember everything you've read. That's not the point. The point is taking something from that book and either using it for knowledge, so like you know it, right? Maybe for self defense, and well, I mean in social situations like 48 Laws of Power, or to take action on something, right? Like I read Atomic Habits, so what did I do? I made a habit tracker, right? Or I changed my identity towards things so I'm more likely to make the habit normalized, right? And I notice most people just are full of shit. That's really what I wanted to talk about because yeah, it's the same with the 48 Laws of Power, right? Everyone knows what the 48 Laws of Power is. That book is one of the most famous books out there, and I'm sure Robert Greene benefits very well from that book, just like James Clear, right? But I also think that someone like Robert Greene, I also think that the person who's read that book, 40 Laws of Power, they buy it, they have it sitting in the shelf for years, and maybe they read like a couple of laws, a few laws. They read like maybe they go through 10 laws. They remember oh, avoid unhappy, unlucky, right? Or never outshine the master, 'cause that's the first law that you see. And then they stop reading it, or they don't remember it, right? Because I know a lot of people who know that book, but it's a hard, I'm going to be honest, it's a very dense book. And if you're not a reader, you're not going to finish it. So that's definitely, I kind of don't blame them, because the first time I got it, I had it sitting in my shelf for like 6 years. And I started reading it because I experienced pain from it. I experienced pain, and then I was like, okay, I have to memorize this book, right? So I had a reason to memorize each law, but most people aren't going to do that. And I just think that people people know that the book exists, but no one's actually fucking learning the book. No one's learning the content of what's inside the book, right? No one's taking notes. No one is actually taking the action of these books, right? No one does anything. They just read it just to read it. Like, they don't study the book. That's the point, right? Like, they don't study, like, actively study the book. It's basically like watching TV, right? I would say it's more productive than TV because it has cognitive benefits, but you're also reading it so you can actually, like, get something out of the book. And I guess yeah, I just had to call it out because it kind of triggers me a little bit when I notice it, because I just know that no one's tracking their habits, right? I know that most people don't track their habits, but many people have read Atomic Habits. It just tells me a lot, and I had to make a video on this. I appreciate it. I appreciate you guys watching. Subscribe. I'm gonna keep creating more content. Take care.